The Custard TV Podcast. This is Luke, editor and runner of the website that you may have discovered this on, thecustardtv.com. Joined as always by Gary in the London area.
Good evening.
And Matt, who is packing a case in the northern area.
Not packed a case as of yet, but
no, but you will. But we're trying to think
my stuff together.
Yeah. How much stuff do you think you have?
A bit. I've got some kitchen stuff and some bathroom stuff. And
are we talking the back of a car, or do you need to hire a van?
Is it like a U-Haul?
I'm hiring a van to take a chest of drawers, but everything else.
Not a chest of drawers, but like a chest of drawers.
No, our chest of drawers.
Oh, okay.
I've done a lot of moves. By the way, if you're not gathered, Matt's moving soon. But I've done a lot of moves. People have...
Are you moving again soon?
Yes.
I can trump all that. I used to work for a removals company.
Don't you think, Gary, that it's just as easy to leave the stuff in Matt's chest of drawers, unless it's valuable?
No,
then
because if you do that, the items could get damaged. Or what could happen is one of the drawers could get stuck in the move.
The chest of drawers is coming at a later date. The van is not being...
So what's the van for?
The van's not being done till the weekend. I'm moving a lot of stuff in the car when I'm moving next week.
Have you got to learn to drive in the meantime?
On the Sunday, no, I've got friends. I'll tell you what it's like sometime.
Ooh, burn!
A lot of stuff's going in the car, and then the chest of drawers. There's a wardrobe in the room already, so I'm taking a lot of the clothes and stuff, and then the chest of drawers is...
What do you use now for a desk?
Table.
God, you are in the north.
No, I could top you. It's not a normal table. It's like it's a picnic table.
Oh!
My parents are moving out.
Is that going with you as well, the picnic table?
I doubt it.
My parents are moving out of my childhood home soon, and I'm inheriting my grandfather's writing desk and some other furniture.
And what about Mrs. McNamara? Any more news on that, Gary?
No news. We're in a holding position on Mrs. McNamara.
Are you?
Oh, God. I thought you were keeping her hostage the way
Yeah.
You just said we're in a holding position on Mrs. McNamara.
We're a holding pattern.
Mrs.
McNamara moving.
Holding pattern.
We are not technically me and Mrs. McNamara holding, so I just want to clear up that room.
Luke, Gary and Matt.
Talking telly.
On the Custard TV Podcast.
Can I also just clarify, Matt, that you have got internet access? This isn't your last appearance on the podcast.
We'll have to see. Starbucks nearby, though, so...
Oh, we could have you order things and pick the funny names that go on the cups.
No, but isn't there I've heard there's a secret Starbucks menu that they don't advertise, but if you go in and say the right words, you get special drinks.
I think McDonald's do that as well.
Yeah, apparently, if you're a student in McDonald's and you own at McDonald's and say you're a student, you get a free cheeseburger or something.
How many times have you done that,
Gary?
Well,
I've never done that, but now I think so. I don't have a credit card, so...
Gary, wasn't it not that long ago that your parents moved out of your family home into the house next door? I'm a bit confused.
No. They have been planning to move out of my family home for about...
But they were only going to move into the house next door. That wasn't that long ago.
We moved next door. That was 30 years ago.
So your family home is the house next door?
Well, okay.
It depends what you call your family home. I lived in one home for about age 3 till about 11, and then I moved when I was aged 11 next door. So, what do you consider your family home? What are your formative years?
I don't know. I just
so
don't
who
know.
lived in the house that you moved out of? Were there new people moving into that house?
Yeah.
When you moved next door?
Yeah. Well,
can I ask why you moved next door?
Okay, well, look. The house that my parents live in now was bombed in the war. Okay.
All right, but they weren't there.
It was rebuilt in the 50s, whereas the house next door was built in the 1900s. So if you saw it, it's a big difference between the two houses.
Oh, so they moved to an updated house.
Yeah. It was.
But then the new people who moved in didn't mind living in an old house.
No, because those houses we'd already done it up, and those houses have got a lot of character. And actually sell for a lot more.
Okay, so why are you moving back?
They're not. They're moving to another area. They're not moving back next door.
Okay, so they're not they're moving to a completely different area away from these two houses.
Downsizing.
This is a third house.
A third house. They're moving into a smaller, more modern house with underfloor heating in the kitchen.
Crikey!
I know, and a big Arca cooker. and a
Are
downstairs glue.
Are you gonna inherit all their slippers?
I hope so.
Because they won't need them anymore.
No,
will
they won't
at
need them.
all?
That's a good point. Yeah,
No.
good point.
As long as they stay in the kitchen.
Yeah. Well, what happens when you go in the front room, though?
TV news, reviews, previews, and house moves. That's what we do here on the Custard TV podcast.
Well, Gary
I'll
does.
do
He used to work as a removal man.
Yeah, how long did you do that for? We'll get to the TV stuff in a minute.
When
How long did you...
I worked, my dad worked there, so I used to work there when I was at sixth form. So
yeah,
early 90s, I was working.
You do look like a removal man, if I'm honest.
You do look a
I
bit.
have
yeah.
done my time on the vans, as we call it. Yeah. I know how to pack china properly and everything like that. You know, Matt, if you need a hand.
I never imagined moving in London to be that easy.
Everything's a bit nearer, so.
Yeah. Perhaps sometimes you don't even need a van.
Well, not when you move next door, no.
Did the people that you moved next door, did they move back into the...
No, we didn't swap houses. Pack everything into the van, then we move, and then they unpack from the van.
You could have just opened the
having
windows
a van?
and just, handed it over.
We did pretty much. We just moved it all via the back door, you know.
I don't want to do the book. I want to do this all day now. As I put on Twitter earlier this week, the next series of The X Factor, as we are having one, is all shaping up rather well already. Caroline Flack, Ollie Murs and Nick Grimshaw all gone. I mean, I wasn't a massive fan of Rita.
I liked her on The Voice more than I did The X Factor, if I'm honest. There is rumours about Dermot coming back.
Yeah.
But
read
how can he when the Getaway Car's doing so well?
Well, yeah.
He's a truck of money, Dermot. Come and
I've read that Danny Minogue might come back, but people are basing that on the fact that she's finished doing the Australian X Factor this year. Craig David might be doing it, but probably only on a Monday.
He's made a bit of a comeback. Or on Sunday, if he could do the results show, because he chills on.
Yeah.
But he
it's
might
Saturday that he would struggle with.
Maybe someone
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and.
No, he doesn't. It's Wednesday through Saturday.
Is it? Oh, okay. How's he going to be able to train his,
He chills on Sunday.
Yeah, but how is he going to be able to spend any time with his artists, when he gets his...
Well, he'd probably be one of them he'd be spending his 7 days with.
Yeah.
If he got the girls.
Or if his lawyers are listening, probably not.
Or he could take her for drinks, and then...
Yeah. See how it went.
Wednesday through Saturday's a bit packed up, but Sunday I can come and do the results show.
Okay, so that's that. I don't know why we did that for so long, but we did, and I still
can't believe we got 5 minutes out of moving stories.
And we're going to go back to that. I've still got a load of questions.
Okay.
Some comedy news of a sort. The Kennedys, which was it was a fine comedy from Emma Kennedy, based on
a time where all these autobiographical comedy dramas were being...
It was kind of on at the same time with Cradle of Grave.
Well, that's the thing, it kind of got caught up in that, didn't it?
So that's gone, and we told you a while ago that the BBC, to celebrate 60 years of British comedy, was going to remake things like Porridge and things like that with a new cast. And they've now announced the Are You Being Served's cast, which includes Matthew Horn from Gavin and Stacey, John Challis from Only Fools and Horses, and Georgie Porter.
And who, sorry?
Georgie Porter.
Porter.
From,
our old
you don't have to say it like that. From I'm
and also Sherry Hewson as Mrs. Slocum, and Jason Watkins as...
I like Jason Watkins, but...
we've all got a problem with this, haven't we? We all think...
Have we?
Yeah. Well,
don't speak for me, Gary. No, let's see how it pans out. I mean, Darren Litton is writing it of Benidorm, so he's the same sort of tone, I'm sure, will be...
But the problem is that I'm assuming you've watched the original show. It's full of innuendo, which won't work in today's society.
Well, they're setting it in the 1980s.
it's the old thing of you don't really need to.
No, you don't need to.
Let's just say what we always say. We should focus on the new things.
But it's just a one-off, isn't it? They're not doing a whole new series. It's just
well, no. What I've read is that if it was a massive hit, then they bring it back for a full series.
We'll agree. None of us watch it, so that
I think it's going to get the ratings because people will be intrigued.
Well, it's what I said on Twitter. If it gets big ratings, it's the pure curiosity effect.
It will do.
As much as it would annoy me if they remade something like Only Fools and Horses, I'd have to watch it just to see what the devil they were doing.
I think this would be terrible.
I'm sure you're probably right, but there you go.
Let's start with The Night Manager.
Oh, go on
then. Which Gary has literally just finished watching.
Yes. So your thought process is all the names and all the will all be there because
all right, I reckon I can do it.
Do you want to do the preamble on this one?
Yeah, let Gary do the preamble.
This is based on a book by John le Carre, who is a famous spy writer, and stars Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston is the main lead. He plays a hotel night manager, hence the name of the show, who gets embroiled in something to do with the Arab Spring when Egypt is being first liberated from its President Mohammed. Is it Mubarak?
Yep, very good.
The Prime Minister. And he gets caught up in a situation where he ends up with some documents in his possession that show that a very famous philanthropist called John Roper played wonderfully.
Almost. Richard Roper.
Richard Roper. I knew there was a little...
so close. I almost feel like giving him that one, though.
But played very well by Hugh Laurie. He basically turns... against this guy Roper. He basically dobs him into the British intelligence that this guy Roper is providing people in Egypt with arms, napalm, and all sorts of equipment to sort of retake over Egypt. He then moves to a hotel after a woman he becomes involved with gets killed. He moves to a hotel in Switzerland. Do we really find out why that is, or does he just
like
kind of
5 years or so in the future, isn't it? It moves forwards.
We assume he moved because it was very difficult for him.
Well, he does mention that he worked at other hotels in the interim, like in Italy and stuff like that.
Tangiers and all that. He's now working at a hotel in Switzerland, and this Richard Roper turns up as a guest. He decides to contact British intelligence again, the person that he contacted 5 years ago, which happens to be Olivia Colman. And he's kind of, throughout the episode, he's agreeing to provide evidence of Mr. Roper's inside trading. He starts off with phone numbers, doesn't he? With
SIM cards.
Burner phone codes that Richard Roper throws into a champagne bottle. And the episode ends with him meeting up with Olivia Colman and kind of agreeing for her to be his handler.
Knitwear-clad, pregnant Olivia Colman.
Yes, she did.
Whose character in the book was actually a man, Leonard Burr, and they changed it for this to have a bit of variety.
You never see Olivia Colman on the telly either, is...
They killed off the only other.
Well, this is the announcement this week that Sean Dooley will be in the new series of DCI Banks.
Oh, thank God! I was worried about him. We haven't seen him for ages.
Again, he's not getting any work. I found this very good. I mean, I have to say, I'm not a huge fan of John le Carre stuff. I hated Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy as a movie. I found it tedious and boring. But I've read Smiley's People and Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy the book, and I thought Tom Hiddleston was very good and very believable as...
He's very much... This, to me, feels like his audition for James Bond, almost.
Yeah,
a lot of people are saying that.
Although I think he'd be better as Q.
What I felt on this, it almost, to me, felt like an hour-long prologue to the rest of the series.
Yeah, it was a build-up.
Especially the stuff in Egypt, which I never got on board with. I didn't really believe the romance between him and the girl Sophie.
It was very portrayed, wasn't it? I mean, she was chasing him.
I mean, it felt like the guy who's adapting it, he sort of struggled to know where to sort of, end this episode sort of thing. It's quite hard to adapt a novel for TV rather than, as you mentioned, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, they did as a film a couple of years ago. What I liked was the second half in Switzerland when we got more from Richard Roper. Hugh Laurie and Tom Hiddleston together were very good.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to watching some more of the series. I think this is like that scene at the end with Olivia Colman and Tom Hiddleston. It's like, this is where it's sort of starting properly now. We've got all the sort of pieces in place. Obviously, it looks really good. I think the direction from Suzanne Bier is good as well. I quite enjoyed it. I know Luke, though, wasn't a fan.
It was just a bit style over substance for me. I didn't.
I would disagree with that.
Well, you can. I mean, I'll punch you in the face.
It's not.
Well, what if I disagree and gang up on you?
It's not Sky Atlantic style over substance.
No, it's not quite.
No. I
suppose it's worth saying that it's a co-production, isn't it? BBC
and you're not a fan of spy stuff either. This is your.
I watched all of Spooks.
Yeah.
And I watched